This time on Rumbling Along, we travelled the Bins track through the East Macdonald Ranges on some pretty sketchy tracks before getting kicked off what we thought was a great free camp, resulting in us driving at night trying to find somewhere else to camp. So join us and see where we end up. Like fair income, people just don't comprehend how tough it would have been back in the day. 3-year-old son was playing in the ruins at the family home, the homestead, and one of the walls or something collapsed on him and unfortunately killed him. It's just amazing! Amazing things you find in these little country towns. Absolute classic. What a gem. Listen to those noises.
Really? Is that what you've got to say today?
Check out the old Devil's Marbles. What a gem. So we jumped back on the Bins track, and the plan was to head as far up the Bins track as we could before we headed north to the Plenty Highway and Gem Tree. Then we were going to head out to the Stewart Highway and up to the Devil's Marbles. Well, we finally found a nice little spot to camp just on the side of the road of the Bins track. Well, so we thought it was a nice little spot to camp. No! Don't! So we found ourselves a nice little camp spot just off the edge of the Bins track. We're all set up, having a beer, nice and relaxed. And unfortunately, old mate Mr. Farmhand has just come and booted us because we're on private property, and because of the Biosecurity Act, we cannot stay here. So we've just had to quickly pack everything up and get out of here. Nice little spot. So that means that we've got to drive probably for another hour or so to get to somewhere, which means we're going to be driving in the dark, which I don't like doing out here because there's too many animals. But anyway, back on the Bins track and go and try and find somewhere else to stay. You beauty. Never mind.
Didn't see that many bugs when we were camping.
So here we are on the Bins track at night time. Perfect. Anyway, we've got to get to our destination of Gem Tree. Apparently there's a caravan park out there, but unfortunately by the time we get there it's going to be shut. So no idea what we're going to do. But anyway, we can't stay out here, all private property, unfortunately. That's the way it is, I guess. So we'll keep on plodding along and see what happens when we get to Gem Tree, I guess. There's truck roads. So anyway, the good thing about being here is we're at the fossicking area. Instead of spending a few hours fossicking, we thought we'd have a bit of a look around and then get back on the road. This area is known as the Mud Tank Fossicking Area, and it's located at Arcoulta Station just south of the Plenty Highway off the Bins track. Apparently it's well known in the fossicking fraternity for its zircon, which is a semi-precious Australian gemstone. After having a bit of a walk around, we stumbled on what looks like an old open-cut pit, now full of water. Not sure if it's dangerous for swimming or contaminated, but there's a big huge sign that says not fit for swimming. Looks okay in there, but anyway, there must be a reason why you can't swim, otherwise they wouldn't have that sign. And probably found nothing, wasted a lot of money and a lot of time. Alright, well, time for us to head back onto the Bins track and then the Plenty Highway out to the Stewart Highway and head up to Tennant Creek. So we've just dropped into Gemtree to get some fuel, which is just a few clicks up from the Bins track on the Plenty Highway. And look what we've got here. Check out this gem. Old Mount Ruddock Homestead, built in 1928. And this isn't actually where it was built. They pulled it down and rebuilt it again. But man, like fair income. People just don't comprehend how tough it would have been back in the day. So the this two-room cabin was the home for old mate Benjamin and his wife Jane, and of course, in true fashion, 5 kids. So a family of 7 people lived in here. So another thing that's pretty interesting about up here too is, just blows me away, the Kidman family. The Kidman family were huge up here as well. Like their station stretched from like Lake Eyre to Oodnadatta and all the way up here in the Northern Territory. Like no wonder they were one of the largest landholders in the country. Those huge stations, massive. Anyway, she would have been a pretty wild undertaking back in the 30s. I think 1928, I just read, was when he bought one of the stations up here. So, pretty big family, pretty big farming family, that's for sure. So back on the road, Plenty Highway, heading out to the Stewart Highway. Just left Gemtree, and I've got to say, the old Gemtree, pardon the pun, but what a gem. So yeah, that was really interesting. Like that just blew me away. That was absolutely awesome. Just completely unexpected to find that little homestead. Like imagine 7 people living in there, but some of the...
No air conditioning, no fridges.
Yeah, no fridges.
No ice cream.
So some of the stories, I didn't have time to read all of them unfortunately, because I could have, but I was trying to air up the tyres, running backwards and forwards when I'd hear the little air compressor switch off. The thing that you pointed out to me, Sarah, was that family that was in South Australia and their son James, 3-year-old son, was playing in the ruins at the family home, the homestead, and one of the walls or something collapsed on him and unfortunately killed him. And the poor old mum and dad were that devastated that they decided to pack up and move to the Northern Territory to a different station. In doing so, they took the 200 sheep with them, and travelling from South Australia to the Northern Territory with 200 sheep, driving them along, is a feat in itself. But apparently it said that every night they used to have to dig a hole in the ground to try and get water. They'd wait for the water to seep into the hole, which they called a soaker. And once the water would seep into the hole, they'd scoop it out with their billy and put it into the crown of their hat and hand water the sheep every night.
One by one.
One by one. How incredible.
It would have taken them ages.
It would have taken so long. And because that took so long, I guess they couldn't really travel very far every day, because they'd have to spend a couple of hours at least giving sheep to the water. Maybe water to the sheep.
Well, they probably let it soak overnight.
Yeah, maybe.
And then in the morning they'd give them
yeah,
water.
that's probably would be a much better idea. Anyway, like the endurance of these people out here is just incredible. Like no one would do that today. Too busy on their phones and
They didn't
tablets.
have a choice back in those days. Really.
They didn't have a choice.
They couldn't jump in a car with a caravan.
You had to survive. That's what you had to do to survive. It's just absolutely amazing. Blew me away. Incredible.
And the other interesting thing there was all the homesteads had really, really good relationships with the local Aboriginals. And so the local Aboriginals helped them a lot, and they also helped them.
So this was actually built by Ned Ryan's camel party, and Ned Ryan got sent out here. He was a stonemason, and this was an endeavour to try and encourage people to move out this area. So they sunk this great big well. So we've just pulled into another little spot. Sarah's like, oh yeah, we'll go in here, you never know what you'll find. And there's old mate, the big Aboriginal on the hill up there, and we've got his wife down here. Have a go. And his daughter. It's just amazing. Amazing the things you find in these little country towns. Absolute classic. What a gem. What a ripper reader. So we'll go over and find a different spot to get a picky of old mate hunting on the hill up there. Oh look, what's that over there? They're camels. Have a go. Just a couple of camels in the paddock there. Probably won't be able to see them from here. They're obviously not wild, I wouldn't imagine. Seeing they're fenced in, they could be. Let's go and say hello to Mr. Camel, shall we? Hey buddy. Hey buddy. How you going, mate? Oh, listen to you. Hey? Yeah. Listen to you. Fancy seeing you out here, mate. Look at you. Listen to those noises.
Hey.
He's getting a little pat. He likes to.
Really? Is that what you've got to say today?
Another cracker little pub. This is Tea Tree Roadhouse. And the Tea Tree Roadhouse is actually the most central pub in Australia. That's its claim to fame. Well, it's not quite open yet. We're a bit early, but it's another classic little pub. And look, these guys, they sell VB too. How good's that? So fun little fact, we're pretty well in the centre of Australia here, just outside of Tea Tree where we just were. And we've done centre of New South Wales. Centre of New South Wales is just out of Nyngan at a place called Five Ways. And actually know exactly where it is because a good friend of ours, Dad, had his farm out at Five Ways. It's just out the other side of Tottenham, and the stone marking the centre of New South Wales was on his property. Charlotte Plains was the property name. And we've also been to the centre of Queensland. Centre of Queensland being Muttaburra, where we did the dinosaur trail and the Muttaburrasaurus. So that's 3 that we've done, so we've still got a few more to do. Get the centre of places. Centre of Western Australia, that'll be an interesting one.
I don't know whether we'll make it there.
I don't know if we'll make it there or not, but we might have to try. Knock off one of those ticks.
The caravan behind.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, we're going to try and head up to the Devil's Marbles. Frothing about that, I didn't even know they were up here.
Yeah, I want to hang a right.
Yeah, well.
He wants to go straight ahead.
So, we've decided we're not going to head to the Devil's Marbles. Change of plans again. What are we going to do?
We are going to go into the Devonport Ranges for some swimming.
So we're going to do the Devonport Ranges. Try and find some water holes, see how we go, and then we'll come back out the other side of the Devonport Ranges and go down to Devil's Marbles. So, and another reason why we're going to head onto the old Devonport Ranges is because we're going back onto the bins track. So we didn't complete the bins track, so this is going to be the completion of the bins track. You beauty, frothing. See how rough it is. It's another dotted road again, but we'll see how we go. So we've just stopped at the Barrow Creek Post and Telegraph Office. This one was built in 1872 and it was mainly used as the Post and Telegraph Office, obviously, and it also housed and accommodated the linesmen that worked on the lines. So there's over there is the old bullock station and shed and things over there, and up the back there's the old blacksmith's workshop where he obviously worked on the bullock wagons, and the Post and Telegraph Office here was out the back. Oh, look, we can go in. So this was the accommodation area in the Telegraph Office. Obviously this was the old kitchen for the linesmen. Now we've got some more rooms out over here. We'll go and have a bit of a squiz. Can't actually get into the Telegraph Office, but we're out here. Looks like the old water tank in there. And we've got another room in here. Yeah, probably a bedroom, I would imagine. Probably the old bedroom. Another one here. Nice old stone buildings, that's for sure. Yeah, another bedroom here. I usually want the fireplace in here. So yeah, classic old stone building, that's for sure. No, actually you can get in the Telegraph Office part. The door is open. So this is where the main telegraph line ran from Port Augusta to Port Darwin back in the late 1800s, and that door's locked unfortunately. So another classic gem of an old building, this one. So this is the history of the Overland Telegraph Line. So the Australia's isolation from the rest of the world ended in 1872 when a single strand of wire was strung across the country's heart. The Overland Telegraph Line was 3,000 kilometres long, connected to a cable from England. Wow, they connected to a cable from England. My goodness. Oh yeah, there we go. There's the cable coming from London. Goes across the top of Africa into Bombay, Singapore, and then to Darwin, connecting Australia with London, the UK. And there's the 3,000 k's of telegraph line there. What a gem, eh? So this was chosen as the site in September 1871, and construction started in January 1872. And the line was officially opened in August 1872. Wow, man, she would have been wild out here back then. Definitely wild. So I've got a big bushfire of some description up here. And this is a classic example of the old fires creating their own weather systems within themselves. I sort of always thought that it was the water that was getting put on, get the fire go out, was making the clouds, but I don't think out here, this fire, they're putting that much water on the fire to make those clouds. I don't know, if anybody knows you can tell me, but maybe just the heat was going up into the atmosphere there, or up into the air and creating clouds. No idea, but it's a pretty big fire going, and what have we got, 36 degrees out here at the moment, so I'd say a fair bit of heat coming out of it, and because it's out in the middle of nowhere, we're still probably 200 k's out of Tennant Creek. Could be up Tennant Creek way. I doubt there's many people out there fighting it. Anyway, we'll find out the next couple of days if they're still going. Well, we thought the fire was a bit further away, but we're actually coming right onto it. We're right in here. It's here. It's right here. Yep, she's definitely, the fire's right here. And I can't see any fireys, so this thing's just burning out of control. There's a bit of fire here.
Looks like it's already been through here though.
Yeah.
Look, there's the flames.
There she is. So another little spot fire's just started over in there. Oh, here we've got some fireys up here, or the police.
Gonna be filming.
Yeah, I'll stop filming here. The police are up there. So we've got a fire just starting here on the edge of the road. Look at that. So another little dilemma on the old Outback Adventures. We have a raging fire going over here. For the time being, the wind is blowing it away from us, which is going to be great. But unfortunately for the poor old Mr. Farmer, it is burning out so much of his land. It's just ridiculous. But if this wind changes, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. It is a big fire. It's spread so far, so quickly. Anyway, we'll see how it pans out. See a few flames going over there. The poor old GoPro's not picking it up very well, but she is a definite big fire. Fortunately, the wind pushed the fire away from us, which was great, but poor old Mr. Farmer lost a heck of a lot of land, and I hope he didn't lose any of his livestock. Check out the old Devil's Marbles. What a gem. They are awesome. Look at them. Wonder if these are glacial. I'll have to have a look and see. And as you can see, there's quite a lot of them around. She's a bit windy too. But there's heaps of them around. It's great. Heaps of these rocks. A lot of them over there you can't take photos. But these ones here you can go for a bit of a walk around. Have a bit of a squiz. As long as you don't climb on them, I guess it's all good. So I'll go for a bit of a walk around the old Devil's Marbles here. Have a quick squeeze. Onion skin weathering. Water filtering into the outer layers of the boulders causes flakes of granite to peel away. So they are granite. I reckon these things would have been all stacked up on top of each other from when a glacier melted. Like it's down in the New England area and down around the Monaro area where they've got all the big granite boulders everywhere. They look pretty cool though, that's for sure. They look great. Absolutely awesome. That's another tick off the old bucket list, that one. Didn't even realise they were out here. Just goes to show the importance of the old visitors centres and the maps and information sheets. Awesome. So glad. So I guess if you head over to the little information booth, you'll find out where these rocks come from. So this is also a very significant area for the Indigenous. It was a sacred meeting place because of course these rocks would collect water when it rains. And when you get water around here, the animals come for a drink, so it's a good hunting spot. And these rocks were actually formed about 1700 million years ago. Molten magma squeezed through ancient sandstones of the Earth's crust and cooled into hard granite rock, the Devil's Marbles. Shrinkage as the granite cooled and pressures within the Earth caused right-angle patterns of cracks called joints to form. As the overlying rocks were eroded by wind and water, the granite came closer to the surface. Groundwater filtered down along the joints and reacted with some of the minerals in the granite to form clay. This process, called weathering, was helped by a warm, humid climate. Weathering was the greatest at the corners of the blocks where more surfaces were exposed. Eventually, the overlying rocks were eroded away and the granite was exposed to the elements. The softer weather growth around the edges of the blocks was washed away, leaving boulders perched on top of one another and strewn across rock platforms. So it wasn't left by a glacier. I was completely wrong. This is what we've been looking for, Sarah. It's a lot rougher than it looks. You might want to be careful when you jump in, because you just see these cars dumped, burned out, wrecked. Look at that, they sell VB. Everybody in the Northern Territory sells VB.